Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, so the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, and how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. You know who I am by now, but in case you don't, I'm Seth, your host. Today I have a buddy of mine, David Schneider. He is the CEO of Shortlist.io, which is a marketing company, white label marketing service for agencies that add revenue without the overhead. He is based out of Philadelphia. He is a serial entrepreneur. This guy's been busy. He's traveled to those over 60 countries in the world, which I didn't know there was that many in the world. No, I did, but still. I mean, that you would want to visit too. So that's pretty wild. We'll have to talk about that a little bit. He is the CEO of Focus, which is a organizational management tool to help you set and crush your goals, your OKRs, to be exact. He is also the CEO and co-founder of Inspire. He'll pronounce it better when I get him on there, but that's an employment and engagement tool. He's done a lot, this guy. He's done a lot, and he's not that old. He's not grizzled yet. So, hey, Dave, how's it going, dude?
Hey, Seth. Doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
You're also the chief bottle washer over at the Philly Tech Entrepreneurs Slack and in-person event thingy. I don't know what to call it. It's get together. Meetup.
We'll call it a meetup.
We'll call it a meetup. You have 2 little kids, right?
I do, yeah.
A wife and a dog, right?
No dog.
No dog. Almost. Yeah. You're busy. You don't sleep.
Everyone has their limits, right? And I draw the line at everything you just mentioned. And the animals
exactly. No dog. No dog. Yeah. Not yet, at least, until the kids beg you for one.
Not yet. Until they, come up with yards in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's kind of true because you're downtown. You're down in Graduate Hospital area. Not to dox you or anything, but
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll survive. You're not that famous.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Anyhow, so Dave, how did this all get started? I mean, I know you. I mean, you started on the corporate world. You did some work for Capital One, and then you said screw it and traveled the world, pretty much.
Actually, my wife said screw it, to give credit where credit is due. I was prepared to just, do the whole corporate 9 to 5 or 9 to whatever was needed for decades, try to rise that ladder, maybe go to business school, something like that. I had a very traditional path in mind. After about a year or so, she was working, we were in DC at the time. She was working a similar style job. She said, I'm done with this. Do you want to go travel? If not, I'm leaving without you. I said, okay. I guess I'm
gonna stick with you. Exactly.
Yeah. So we went off, we went backpacking, and I started working online because that was the only way to do anything when you're moving from country to country. One thing kind of led to another, and then here we are.
Exactly. So your team is stateside and in Macedonia of all places, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a country that's like a bit north of Greece. Whenever I mention it, very few people know where it is, but it is.
It's in the Balkans.
It's the Balkans, yeah. See, you know more countries than you let on.
No, I know. That's my what 8th grade geography class.
Okay, yeah. So
I had to memorize all the countries in Europe.
Yeah, okay, it's one of them. Yeah, it's landlocked. It doesn't get as much travel, but it's a great place. Great culture, lovely people working there. They speak really good English. Very intelligent.
A hard language to understand, though.
It is, yeah. I speak Russian, so I kind of get some stuff, but it's not exactly one for one.
But it's not Cyrillic. It's Roman characters, right? It's just
they do both. Yeah.
Oh, geez, let's make it really complicated.
Yeah. You gotta do it all.
We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show. You got to do it all. That's wild. A little left over from the Cold War era. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's do everything. Why not? Sort of like Dave over there. Let's do everything. So you speak Russian.
Yeah, my wife is Russian, and she was born in Moscow. She moved when she was 4. But
so she's barely Russian.
Barely Russian in the way that I'm like barely Jewish. But basically... I mean, I should just say.
But Jewish is fine. With the name of Schneider, you're either German or Jewish. One of the
exactly. Yeah, or both. But in any case, so yeah, long story short, when we were high school sweethearts. When I went to
Oh,
college, I started learning Russian to kind of understand what was going on over there. We broke up after about 4 weeks, but I decided to keep learning Russian for 4 years anyway because I really liked it. I figured I'd meet someone new. But then at the end of college, we got back together, and I ended up learning the language in the meantime.
that's good. So it kind of helps you out with the in-laws, though.
Yeah, now I understand what her mom is saying about me all this time. It's not
Exactly.
good
She can't
things.
badmouth you now. She's like, shit, I can't say bad things about Dave now.
Not anymore.
Are you fluent?
Conversational.
You can get around.
I can do more than get around. I can do more than get around, but I don't
Oh,
like
that's
the
impressive.
word.
That's not. It's not an easy language, and it's all
It's
different
not. It's
alphabet.
yeah. It's a very hard language, and I have a. It's one of those pet peeves about the word fluent, where for me, like that's a very very high bar that I wouldn't consider myself of, but certainly, but it's more
Your
than just
your,
like
your
asking for
mother-in-law can't
directions.
badmouth you in Russian. That's
Yeah,
that's the bar you met.
yeah,
You
that's
can.
the level. Yeah,
It's the level. You know what they're saying about you.
exactly.
So her in-law, her family comes over from Russia and visits, and they say, "Who's this guy? Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
in Russian, and you're like, back to them, and they're like, "Oh crap, we just said bad things about him." That's kind of wild. So short list. What is the whole premise behind that? It's like inbound linking and SEO and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that good stuff. You certainly know the space as well as
Yeah.
anybody. We do some design and dev, we do content marketing strategy, we do some SEO, link building, things like that. But recently, we've been trying to position ourselves more to be white labeled by other agencies.
Oh, very good.
So we do work direct with brands for sure, but the services are really built to kind of be they're productized, and they're meant that an agency could like take them, kind of done for you, offer them to a client, add their margin, and focus on their strategy, their acquisition, whatever it is they
Yeah.
need. So that's directionally more where towards we're moving.
So that's pretty cool. And then you also, as if you're not busy enough with the family and all that, you have Focus that you use focus.com. So then that's kind of a focus app for employees to stay focused at work.
Yeah, I have a couple apps that I've been messing around with. Originally, prior to Shortlist, I was always a software guy. My
Yeah.
history was really about kind of building ninja outreach and kind of managing the product and everything. So I've always really loved that. But then after selling it, I wanted to kind of get back into it. So a couple little irons in the fire, but they're more labors of love at this point.
Yeah. Kind of keep you busy as if you're not busy enough.
Keep them busy.
Exactly. So here's a question for you. What's the best thing about being an entrepreneur? I mean, other than traveling to 60 countries with your wife.
Best thing about being an entrepreneur, at least, and I want to preface this by saying a lifestyle entrepreneur because that's
Yeah.
what I consider myself to be. But the best thing about being a lifestyle entrepreneur is flexibility of your time and
Yeah.
sort of really, in this case, I got two young ones at home, right? I got like a 1 and a 3 year old,
Oh,
and being able,
geez.
yeah. So I'm in the thick of it. We're in the trenches, but I'm there with them, right? I'm around most of the
Yeah.
days. I can organize my schedule to prioritize the kids. I'm not missing out on a lot of the key moments, the developmental milestones and everything that's going on. So without the lifestyle that I have right now from doing what I've been doing, it probably wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about having Goldstein Media for 16 years. My 11-year-old, I've seen him grow up. Like I've seen him grow up for better or for worse. I've seen him become an 11-year-old little snot-nosed little teenager, who I love dearly, but who's a complete pain in the ass. That's what you have to look forward to. But that's one thing about entrepreneurship. It's like I've been able to be around for it. I haven't missed those milestones, and I've
Yeah,
seen them. And funny enough, some of these milestones, like not wearing diapers to bed, have happened with me when the wife's out, and I'm like, he's like, I'm wearing underwear to bed. And I'm like, you are. That's gonna be a mess. And of
that day.
course, of course, it was a mess. Of course, that night he weed the bed,
Yeah.
and it was to be expected. But then, like all these little milestones, like if I was working 9 to 5, I'd be asleep at that hour. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's funny because people are like, "Oh, that's the memory you have." I'm like, it's dumbest, stupidest, silliest memories that parents cherish. It's the stupid little things like he sleeps in the big boy bed. It's like all that stuff. It's the joy.
That's a great memory. I love that. We haven't crossed that barrier yet, but I know
This
it's
way, they'll
coming.
throw it on you. They'll tell you when they're ready to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So waiting
And
for
then
it.
you can't say no because you know that that's gonna make them feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
So you gotta say, "Okay, I'll be up at 3 o'clock in the morning cleaning up the sheets." Oh god.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Kids, I mean, they grow up, and before you know it, they're 11, they're coding Roblox games. in code, looking at YouTube and learning how to code, and I'm like, geez, I didn't do this when I was 11.
I'll be coming to
I
you with
don't
some
remember what I was doing at
questions.
11, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, no. Give me 8 years, and I'll let you know how it's going.
We'll check back in 8 years, exactly. So now on the flip side of what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur, what keeps you up at night being an entrepreneur?
You know, the things that stress me out
Mhm.
is the day to day, the year to year volatility.
Yeah.
And call me neurotic, but I'm always thinking like, what if I wake up tomorrow and shortlists sort of no longer exist? What if nobody needs these services anymore? What if something about Google's algorithm changes, or nobody wants Google anymore, AI or whatever it is? There's so many existential things
Yeah.
that you can kind of worry about. And some of that is a little bit inflated. It's really kind of, you're making a mountain out of a
What if
molehill.
Google's not around tomorrow? Yeah, it's kind of
Sure. But
Google's around for a while.
but I've had, massive
Yeah.
income swings, from year
Oh
to
god,
year,
yeah, no doubt.
where, sometimes, hey, it's gone up a lot, which is awesome, but sometimes it's been 50% of what it was the year before. It's hard to kind of structure your life when you have that type of volatility. It's hard to know how to budget, what type of purchases you can make and things like that. So there are definitely some nuances there that is not for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So then what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? This can be physical or metaphysical, or you can go as woo-woo as you want to go with this.
For me, I guess if we're going, uh, boy, I mean, for me, it's a to-do list. I don't know. That's a lame answer, but
No, you can try.
realistically,
The to-do list is very important when you're an entrepreneur.
I feel that without kind of a set sort of these are what I'm planning on doing today. This is my task to do. I get totally lost in how to structure my time because entrepreneurship is so
All over the
unframeworked,
place.
right?
Yeah.
It's so unstructured. I got to know that I've got these things to do, and it's not just necessarily professionally; it's personal as well. I'll make notes about unloading the dishwasher and stuff like that. I
Because
just
you won't, and your
need
wife will be mad at you because she's
yeah,
Russian and she'll be
I
mad at
need
you.
to. Yeah, I know it'll be a lot of very strong curse words. I need to really understand like what I'm expected to do every day. I need that type of direction.
Exactly, exactly. So are the kids bilingual yet?
They are bilingual understanding. They are
Oh, that's bad. So they can
me.
understand it. So you can't. But they can. They can't spell English. So they can still spell.
Right. Yeah. It's like it's not even a secret language that we can speak to each other anymore because they do understand. But they pretty much they speak English.
Yeah, well, that's pretty wild, though. I mean, it's kind of handy because kids are such sponges. And like literally, I wish I learned a language at 3 because then that's when the time is to learn something.
It's
Not
pretty
when you're
incredible.
42 years
Yeah.
old. I forget my brain is set and deteriorating right now. So
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how easy it was for them to pick it up without any real formal instructions at all. Meanwhile, like I've grinded for 4 years in college.
yeah, you had to go to Harvard and learn Russian to get it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was the only
Like
way
seriously,
it could
they're
be done.
picking it up. You're like, darn it! You made it so easy, and it's not like we said. It's not an easy language.
No, I'm glad.
I know how to say no in Russian, "Нет," and that's it.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
glad
it.
that that is
I don't know how to say yes. I just know how to say no.
is duh. But
Oh,
yeah, so
God, it's easy.
it's done. It's in the past. It now exists as this passive entity in me,
But
and
it's kinda nice because I took Italian in college a little bit, and once you lose it, if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah,
At least your
exactly.
wife, is fluent. I'm sure she is fluent. She'll probably take that mantle. So you guys can, like, practice and keep it kind of
Yeah, for sure.
going.
I hear
And
her
your
speaking it
in-laws,
with she
so you
speaks
kind
it
of
with the kids. I've got the in-laws, so there's enough in the ecosystem to kind of keep it
but I
keep
bet
it
they wanna
going.
practice their English with you, so because now do they sound like they're from Philadelphia now?
They don't want to speak English with me. No one wants to speak English with me, even native English speakers. No one wants to speak with me whatsoever. But
Exactly.
they are in Boston.
Oh, they're in Boston. Oh god, so they're the Boston Russian accent.
Yeah, yeah, it's more of a
"Нет,
Russian
я
accent.
in the
Yeah,
past, they kinda have yeah, нет,
yeah.
no." I see.
More, yeah, it's sort of a roll. It's a weird R, right? You're rolling the R because it's Russian. Then you've got the Boston R. It's a mess.
Oh my god, so you're like, "Wait, what did you say? I thought you understood Russian." Well, not Boston Russian. That's funny.
I don't know. We'll have to figure out what park the car at Harvard Yard is in the Russian dialect.
Exactly. That's the only thing I know about Boston English is that I don't understand it. They don't understand me down here in Boston. They don't understand. I don't understand them. So, and we're supposed to speak English. So go figure. So Dave, where is the best place for people to hang out with you online? Where's your watering hole of choice?
If you want an immediate answer, shoot me an email. I'm like an inbox zero guy, so I'm going to be on
Ooh,
it. Davidshortlist.io. But I have started to get more active on LinkedIn.
yeah,
Kudos to you for that. For the encouragement. You've been kind of
yeah.
actively posting your content, and I've been soaking that in. So
Oh,
feel
thank
free to
you.
ping me there as well. I've been writing a lot of good stuff there.
And it's David Schneider over there, even though he goes by Dave, but he's got to be
That's
official and snooty on LinkedIn. So
David is my professional persona. Correct.
professional persona, your MO. I like that. Well, Dave, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been so much fun, and we'll see everyone next time. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode.